What's up, everybody? This is Chlorine. Um, I'm actually on my Shadow Realm account, and the reason for that is because I am going to be talking about Town Hall 10 base building. I know a lot of friends in my clan and extended family have recently upgraded to Town Hall 10, and so I just wanted to make kind of a brief video pointing out how the things you want to look for when you build a Town Hall 10 base. So, saying that, I've built 5 bases on this account. We're gonna jump into, let's just jump into this one first. This base is not amazing. I will talk about why, but first, we're gonna start with the air defense. Because at this point in the game, and this is pre-mega update, so I don't know how troops will change after that update. But at this point in the game, air is the most overpowered thing. So you want to defend against air first and foremost. The reason I say this is because a Town Hall 11, if you want to try to defend like a bull or witch attack from a Town Hall 11, you can do that. If you're a higher base, like if you're a low base, it doesn't matter, you're going to get steamrolled. You want to try to defend the Town Hall 10 triples, and the only way they're going to get a triple on you is with an air attack. So, after saying that, we will talk about air defense and air trap placements. So, the dealio is when an enemy comes in with hounds, the hounds will tank air defense, but they also tank Teslas, Archer Towers, Wizard Towers, Expos, and the traps. And that last one is pretty key. Wizard Towers and traps are your best friends when you're trying to defend an air attack. Because if a hound comes in to an air defense and is tanking all those other things, once the loons catch up to the hound, even though maybe the Archer Towers or the Expos or the air defense are all shooting the hound, the Wizard Towers and the traps will do damage to the balloons. So it doesn't matter if the hound is still alive. The Wizard Towers and the traps will do damage to balloons. So my rule of thumb is always protect your Wizard Towers. Put your Wizard Towers in a Wizard Tower farm so that they can do maximum damage to a clump of balloons, and put those away from your air defense. So for all of my bases, you will see that. This base, I have my 4 air defense up here on top, and then I have my Wizard Tower farm down here. These Wizard Towers will not tank hounds sitting on the air defense. That means that since a hound can't fly insanely fast, after the air defense are dead, the hound will stay with your pack of loons. So your Wizard Towers will be able to take that pack down, and they won't be specifically targeted to the hound. Another thing I did here is throw in these red bombs. The key thing to remember about red bombs is you don't want lava pups taking those out. So, if someone were to go in with a hound, let's say on this air defense, you don't want that hound to pop and spring these bombs. You want these bombs to stay here, but you don't want them like all the way to the edge like that, because those aren't gonna help at all. So you want your bombs. I like to put them kind of either by the Wizard Towers or the Inferno. I found out you want to put them in groups of 2, just because from my experience, 1 red bomb isn't going to stop a Laloon, but if you have 2 plus the Wizard Towers or plus the Inferno, that can do some major damage. So I try to clump them up. Like down here, I have these 2 on the Inferno, I have these 2 kind of in the Wizard Tower farm, and then I have this one just on the edge. So that's the key with red bombs and air defense. You want to separate those. For black bombs, you want to put your black bombs by the air defense, because you want them taking down those hounds. If someone placed a hound like by the town hall, it would go in here, take out both of these bombs, and take fire from 2 air defenses. The hound's going to go down pretty much instantly. That's why you want to always place your bombs by the air defense. Don't try to defend a queen walk. Because usually they will, it's really hard to predict where someone will queen walk unless you set up a base specifically to be queen walked. Like you try to trap them into queen walking at a certain area. So that's just the traps. And skeletons, obviously, you want those on air. For air sweepers, you can either point them away from the air defense. This is if a kill squad takes out the air defense and then tries to Laloon the back, this air sweeper will protect that. And notice I have it shooting at an angle, which means balloons will slide at an angle. And I figured out balloons go much further when they're sliding at an angle than when they're going straight back. So what you want to do is you want to try to get those balloons kind of sliding at an angle because they have to go back at an angle, and that will slow them down a lot. This air defense is just to guard in case someone were smart enough to realize that he needs to take out this wizard tower chunk with his kill squad. This air defense will just kind of guard the Laloon spam from the other end. It would be acceptable to put him like right here, or even better right there, because that kind of guards the Inferno and these archer towers. I just had him kind of protecting that wizard tower for him. So that's the key with the air portion of the base. With the Infernos, you don't want loons to be able to path into the Infernos. That's why I have these defenses placed at just the right angle, where if loons are placed, you would have to waste a ton of loons just to get the pathing because of these archer towers and mortars. This base doesn't show that as well. I can actually back out of here and show you in this base. This is a little better. Like if someone were to place loons, they would go, if they placed them here at this barracks, they would go for this archer tower, then around the Teslas. If they placed them for a mortar, they would split off to these archer towers and around. Or if they placed them at this archer tower, they would obviously go to the wizard tower and around. So you want to keep those loons from targeting your Inferno towers. That just ensures that you can't send a pack of loons right to the Inferno, that they go around. Notice this base does have the air defense on the Infernos. Not the air defense, the traps. And it's got the other air defense outside. For V's air defense, I like putting one out of range of the queen walk, which is 5 tiles, and one right on the edge. So if I wanted to queen walk this one would stop it. However, this double air defense would still stop a double hound. I usually like placing bombs on the inner one, just because that, in my opinion, is when hounds get more dangerous, is when they get into the base more and start tanking more defenses. So that's why these bombs are in here. Notice these sweepers are pointing at the Inferno towers. Perfect placement, and I have my wizard tower farm in the center to prevent that Laloon. That kind of concludes the air portion of the video. I'm going to now talk about ground. The second most popular attack army is bowlers, and witches is a common thing to put in that. So because of that, you want your base to be able to defend bowlers. The way you want to do that is obviously have your Inferno modes. Those help a ton. Very helpful. And you want to try to put your bombs where you think the bowlers are going to go in. For example, here, if someone were to go in here, the golem would go from here to this archer tower, and I'm hoping that my bowlers will step up to, actually, it would probably be better if I did this. I'm hoping my bowlers would come in here and get blown up by here without the golem attracting this cannon, without the golem blowing up the bombs. That's why you want to kind of place the bombs like that. Over here, I kind of figured that the golem would get hung up on these two defenses, which would give bowlers enough time to get in and get blown up. That's kind of reasoning behind these bombs. For spring traps, I've figured out you want to place your spring traps on intersections, because spring traps can be very annoying for wall breakers. So if I were to ground attack this base, I would go in from this side or this side. And that's why I have all of my spring traps on the intersections on those two sides, just to prevent that ground spam. So that's kind of the thing behind that base. Let's just check out this base. This is the third style of base, is to have your two Infernos on the far side of the air defense. The other two bases I showed had the Infernos kind of in the middle ground. This one is, in my opinion, probably the best, just because you can really segregate your air defense and your Inferno towers. Like for this base, it would be very hard to take out an Inferno tower and two air defense. So that's kind of the reasoning behind this. I like I said, I figured if you were to bullet witch it, you would come in from this end. Also, if you were to go in with a kill squad and air defense, which is why I placed all these springs on these intersections, and little bombs kind of up top to prevent like wall breakers up there. At my wizard tower farm, I do have a defense in between just so balloons can't go from wizard tower to wizard tower. That would be obviously pretty deadly. I have 2 air defense pointing up here just because I figured I might actually change this. I might change my queen with something like that. If I did that, it would bait someone into attacking with a kill squad from this point, and that would allow both of these, if those don't get taken out, that would allow both of them to shoot loons from the other side. So that might actually be better. I'm not going to change anything right now, but that's just something to consider. Both of these would shoot balloons, and that would be really annoying if you can't take those out with a kill squad. My Infernos do have the defenses around them to draw loons away from them, so that's perfectly good. And I have a mini Tesla farm just to annoy loons. So if you were to place your hounds, let's say you spam from this side. If you were to spam all your hounds and balloons, the hounds and the balloons would obviously take out V's air defense really fast, hopefully do a little bit of damage, but then they would advance into the base. And with the hounds, they're not going across the base anymore for an air defense. They're going to stay with the loons. That's why splash damage is going to be so deadly, is because it can damage the loons without the hounds tanking that stuff. So then loons will start dropping like rapidly, very rapidly. The hounds won't be able to do anything to stop it. So that's just the idea behind the segregated air defense. That is the most important thing probably to think about when you're building a Town Hall 10 base. So kind of to wrap up, for Inferno Tower modes, you can have different types of modes. I like these just because it prevents bowlers. You can make loon pathing difficult, but you could also do something like this, where it's extremely anti-kill squad from this side, but it's very easy to kill from this side. You would really have to think about pathing, try to think of what the enemy would do in order to build one of those, because it can be extremely weak if you attack from the other side, so you would have to like place the traps appropriately. But that is Infernos. As long as you have, bowlers cannot target anything 3 tiles away, so if the Inferno was right here, bowlers would be able to target it if they stand it in this compartment. However, Inferno's right here, bowlers cannot target it, which means all of those bowler bounces, unless they get insanely lucky, they're not going to be taking this Inferno out. You're going to need your queen for that. So this Inferno can do some serious damage to bowlers before they can take it out. That's why you want to put those in a moat. So the most important things about this video is put your air targeting defenses away from your air defense, especially the wizard towers, and place your Infernos in moats. That is probably the 2 most important things. I've noticed even if you do something like this, where you have extremely segregated air defense, even if the air defense could be easily taken out, like these air defense have nothing guarding them, it's just air defense, and they don't do that much damage to hounds. It's all the extra defenses. But still, people are so afraid of air defense, they still go on with a kill squad on the air defense, and that's why they end up failing on this end. So that's kind of a short video on how I build my Town Hall 10 bases. I really hope it helps you guys build some sick bases so that I can friendly challenge you and destroy them. Hopefully. But yeah, I hope this helps, and I hope you guys have a nice day.